What's going on, guys? Back here with another MLB DFS video. Recapping yesterday very quickly, doubled our money. It was fine. It looked a little more promising at first. I've had it with Atlanta. You lose 16-4 against the Mets. There's something wrong with your team. We went John Gray, who got 39, which is fine. Pete Alonso, 2 for 4, 2 runs, a walk. Starling Marte, 2 for 5, 2 runs, stolen base walk. Brandon Nimmo, 2 RBI, 2 run. And then there's Mr. Acuna, who decides to go 0-4. I can't keep defending this guy. And it's one of those stupid things where, every time we roster him, he does nothing. We don't roster him. Like the one day that we didn't roster him, he had like 39 fantasy points, and he didn't even hit a home run. He was just stealing bases, somehow getting on and scoring. Did I miss anything from yesterday you want to talk about?
Yeah, Mr. Bobby Wood. Yeah, of course, the slate before we played Witt, he was did nothing, hit like six. Then yesterday, he had 70 with two dongs. Just crazy. I saw the wind was blowing out left or right, and you could tell the ball was carrying because the wind was pushing it that much, and one of them just cleared the wall. Just frustrating because him and Seager were like the same ownership, so I guess it really didn't matter. But Seager did absolutely nothing. I think he struck out four times. It's
And
just abysmal.
that the crazy thing about that game too was the Rangers got one hit against Oakland. The defending World Series champions got one hit against the soon to be Sacramento freaking A's. Like,
Yeah, it's tough.
and I mean,
Baseball is just crazy.
John Gray didn't even do bad. I mean, he gave up that home run and then he was solid the rest of the way, but can't complain about a double up, especially with what we've had so far. Um, all right, you ready to jump into pitching? Because that's kind of
No,
what we, yeah, that was,
it's awful.
all right. So at the moment, Guess man, Detmers, Fried, Peralta, Bryce Miller, Abbott, King. I can't even finish this. This is so bad. What's standing out to you at the moment?
Like I get the gas man play, but he's just not looked good. Um, I mean, I guess we could vouch for on the other side. He should get some run support playing Colorado. I think what Feltner's on the mound. He's but Toronto just doesn't produce offense. I don't know. I'm kind of stuck on that play at his ownership right now. Curious to see where Peralta ends up. I think he's fairly priced, but it's kind of hard to pick on the O's, especially on the road. And Peralta being the pitcher that he is, fastball Freddie. If any of these guys get a nice barrel on the ball, that thing is going 400 feet, especially with the top of the lineup. Gunnar Henderson's been pretty hot. Um, like these pitchers are just bad. Like Max Fried, he gets the Marlins who suck, but he hasn't really shown me anything this year yet. He should get some run support for a win. Probably good odds to get the win there, but I don't know. Like I'm honestly considering like these trash bags down here, like Severino. I don't think I could play him at 8K, but home matchup versus the Royals, it's decent. Um, the Yanks are facing Cookie Carrasco. That could go very, very poorly for the Guardians. But I didn't see where Clark Schmidt's price was at. Is he starting? That's what Ballpark says. But yeah,
600.
I have to look more into his pitch count and stuff. I haven't seen him this year. Hauk at 9.5 is like just a crazy price tag, but I guess he's worth mentioning. I think I like him more than Detmers. for a similar price range in the same game. I think I'd rather just play Hauk for the more likely win chance. And the Angels lineup just kind of sucks. This set for Trout, who probably is going to go over the monster, but that's just Trout. You could expect that. Abbott, I, I don't know what's going on with him. I mean, he gets a nice matchup with the White Sox, but don't think I can click him just yet. Definitely not playing anything in this Houston Texas matchup pitching wise. No Dunning, no France. Bryce Miller, I'm slightly considering. The Cubs have been hot though. I'm just kind of frustrated playing against them. I think we picked a couple of Padres pitchers that played against them and it kind of cooked us. But I mean, it's all right. And then we had the battle of the mid to end the night between Jake Irvin and Paul Blackburn. One of them could probably put up a decent game. I don't see many runs being scored in that game. So, maybe you want to take a dart there, but probably just going to end up paying for gas, man. It's going to bite us right in the ass. What do you think?
Sorry, I wanted to see Paul Blackburn's game log. I mean, opening day against Cleveland, he had 34. He went 7 innings. April 6th against the Tigers, he had 40. He went 6 innings, 4 strikeouts, got the win and quality start. So, I mean, that's a dart throw, but Gas Man, I mean, at 6% looks kind of solid. But, I mean, obviously you're paying up. And how many times have we stacked Toronto? And
Is
it
he pitching for 6%? I don't believe that for a second. I feel like he's going to be at least 15. Yeah, like throughout the day, I feel like it's just going to rise based on how lineups
right.
are going. But like, if people are just going to realize these prices on these guys, FanDuel made these guys unplayable.
Not much else like sticks out to me. I mean, like Peralta against Baltimore, I can kind of see just because Peralta strikeout upside and whatever. But I mean, it's
Mm-hmm.
Baltimore. The one like narrative about Baltimore was they played extra innings yesterday. Guys could be a little bit more tired, I guess. I don't know. I'm kind of digging Andrew Abbott, but he's getting 11%. Hawk and Detmers. What do you think about Brandon Fad at 1% ownership at 85?
I think he's just a little expensive. I'd rather see him in like 7-7, like maybe like mid sevens he'd be playable, but 8-5, like he's probably not going to get the quality start. Maybe he gets you the win. Like maybe goes 5 1/3 and get the win. Maybe gets you like 30, but you kind of need more than that on this slate
Yamamoto only getting 0.5% ownership at 10-2 against San Diego. That's
because his price is crazy. He doesn't deserve a 10-2 price tag yet.
I don't understand it. I mean, yeah, I think he'll be good, but 10-2 right now. If he was like 9K, he'd be like 40% right now.
Yeah, I think if you're just going to condense the pitcher pull down, at least for right now, I just look at Gasman, Peralta, Free, but I mean, they're all look pretty boom or bust, to be honest.
Yeah, there's not much else with that. Let's look at stacks really quick. So there's too many teams playing today, so I'm not reading it, but this is what it looks like. Funk's Reds against my White Sox with Chris Flexen on the mound, which should end very well. What are some early thoughts on stacks in general right now?
Yeah, just going off team totals projected in ballpark pal. Just go in order here. Got Houston at 5.9, Yanks at 5.7, Rangers, Braves at 5.6, Toronto 5.3, and Boston 5.1. Those are probably teams I'm looking at first. I do like targeting this Houston Texas series every time that happens. I feel like one team or another just usually puts up over 5, 6 runs, which is pretty decent on a main slate. since he looks okay, I haven't looked at weather today, so I don't know what Chicago's weather is looking like, but maybe you get some wind blowing out or, you know, some crazy Chicago wind usually helps. But I haven't looked. Yanks against Cookie Carrasco, like I mentioned earlier, could, they could put up 15 if they wanted to. Um, Toronto hasn't hit the ball well yet. They gotta get it going eventually. I feel like, especially this is pretty good right get right matchup against Colorado. So those are probably the teams I'm looking at. Maybe Boston against Devers if he's carrying like a significant amount of ownership. Maybe if he's over like 10-15, I'd target Boston. That's it.
19-mile-an-hour winds, 35-mile-an-hour gusts, northwest for Chicago.
So yeah, that's definitely interesting. Let me see the home run factors here. Uh, yeah, since he's projected for 1.3 home runs, it's pretty average on the slate. Texas and Houston at 1.5, 1.6, and then everyone else is around one. So I guess since he projects a little bit better than most. What do
I
you like?
Atlanta looks solid against Trevor Rogers. Houston, Texas, always solid. I hate to even say this too, but Toronto against Ryan Feltner, facing Colorado looks good. Yankees obviously against Carrasco. I don't even mind. This is sort of contrarian, but like Arizona against St. Louis against Steven Matz. Maybe Casey against Severino. Boston against Detmers. I don't know. Milwaukee's been kind of hot going up against Tyler Wells. I don't remember if he's good or not, but there's obviously better stack options up there. But I would look into Houston, Texas, like both of those, Cincy, Atlanta, Yankees, Toronto. If you want to get a little different, go Arizona, Milwaukee. That's about it, though. Let me see.
Yeah, that's kind of what I see.
The top nine stacks here. So Cincy, Atlanta, Houston, Yankees, Dodgers, Toronto, Angels, Rangers, Diamondbacks. Those are all in play. It's just a matter of what stack type do you want to do and how to fit it with, your salary. But I think all of those are in play. All right, let's look at positionality and prices and see if they've screwed up anything on FanDuel.
Did they add what's his name?
Holiday.
The Orioles? Yeah, did they add him?
I tried to
Is he
find
the
him when he first got called up, and I was like, oh, you know what? Shot in the dark.
not
Shortstop,
even on the slate?
shortstop in second.
Yeah, so the lineups that were in earlier, Gasman was popping in 75%, Peralta about 20, and then Freed about 5. Um, getting a lot of reds. Encarnacion Strands popping at first, India at second, Candelario, who's been god awful. Probably we've been waiting for him to start. Oh, Yankees
Yankee.
Guardians postponed. Sick. No
All right,
Yanks,
that
guys. No Yanks.
that kind of helps.
Yeah, it kind of condenses the stacks a little bit, which is good. Um, obviously the Braves are popping a bit. The problem is all these stacks that we're talking about are very expensive. So if you're playing Gasman at basically max price 10K, it's gonna be hard to fit these guys like Garcia, Acuna, Yordi, Ellie De La Cruz, Austin Riley, like these kind of guys. So I'm curious to see. the stack options in terms of like maybe the 7 or 8 hole guys. If they're like, 2, 2, 2, 3 price, that probably works well for the four mans, but none of these offenses really have those unless you want to play like Abreu for the 100th time, like me at 2-2. Just don't do that. It's you're asking for an L. What do you see?
I'm just kind of scrolling through just to see. Vladdy at 3-2, sure.
Springer at 3K flat is pretty good. I feel like that's pretty good value for him. It's usually like mid threes. Fraley at 2.8, very cheap for him. Benson's still not priced where he should be. I feel like at 3-1. I feel like he should be
Mookie
more like 3-5 to what he's hitting.
4-7. Sorry. Mookie 4-7. You're
He
gonna have
deserves it.
no, he does, but then you're gonna have to play a $7,500 pitcher. Christ.
Yeah.
I'm always gonna like switch hitters. I mean, Albies has a good matchup. Ketel Marte has an okay matchup. Zach Gelof at 3-4. Okay.
Biggio's kind of popping at second base at 2.6. I think it's just because my Toronto stacks are going up. Varsho at 2.5. Nick Martini, the legend, at 2.6.
India at 3K doesn't look terrible. Let's see what third. 3,900 for Ellie. What is his batting average, man? Okay.
Not bad. Yeah, he's picked it up.
318.
He was really bad the first week, but
I was gonna
he's picked it
say
up.
if it was like under 200, I was gonna roast the shit out of him, but Austin Riley almost always in play. Chris Morel almost always in play too. Jake Berger, I kind of like 3-4 against Max Fried. All that power.
Yeah, burgers like that.
And the White Sox traded him for a bag of chips, man. Justin Turner, a little cheaper at 3-3 against Colorado, doesn't seem too bad. Who's pitching for San Diego?
Uh, I didn't see who that was. Michael King. Who the hell is that?
All right, so Muncy's in play.
Looking at the lineups that were popping for me now, it looks like Reds, Braves, Texas. And the reason the Reds are popping so much is because they're cheap at like first, second, third. CES at 2.8, India at 3, Candelario at 2.8, and then you can play Benson in the outfield at 3-1. It's a pretty cheap stack. They lets you fit like Seager, Simeon, and some of the rest of Texas with Gausman. So I feel like since his ownership is just going to keep going up and up and up throughout the day, especially with no Yankees.
Mikel Garcia has been doing good. Obviously, Bobby Witt decided to just go crazy yesterday when we don't roster him. Arcia is one of those bottom of the lineup guys if you need a cheap guy. Jackson Holiday.
I don't like him if he's in the 9 hole again.
Did you see those like little funny errors fielding? People are like roasting
Yeah,
already. It's like, dude,
give him a break. First game.
Jordan at 4-5. Christ almighty. What are we doing here? Ozuna from the Braves at 3-9.
He's nuts.
Bro gets a DUI and just turns into a goat. Corbin
What are your home
Carroll
run
and
calls
Gurriel. What's up?
out of these? What are your home run calls out of these guys?
I'm going with Fraley, Otani, and Vladdy.
Okay. I got Seager after his horrendous performance yesterday. Altuve and Gunnar Henderson off fastball Freddy.
Benson 3-1. I'm not even sharing the screen. I'm just scrolling to see if there's anything that catches my eye. But that should do it though. Anything else from you before we head out of here?
That should just about cover it. It'd be interesting to see where the Reds ownership ends up. Looks like it's going to be pretty high. Might have to go somewhere else. Uh, Make sure to check out our lineup on our fan bases page. We'll link that in the description and like and subscribe if you haven't already.